I think often Macabre work is really, really groundbreaking. It's very playful, as well as being often quite troubling. My studio is currently in a library in South East London. It's a really atmospheric place to work, and particularly during the pandemic when there was a lockdown. I was the only person who would ever be in this huge building, so walking through this somewhat decaying Victorian library with mould on the walls and plaster falling off. It was amazingly atmospheric. Painting process, the first layer is we always do a kind of monochromatic underpainting, which is generally using kind of like a very yellowish kind of highlight, moving towards a red shadow. It's a sort of dark maroon colour. And that monochrome process allows me to change the painting a lot. I think processes where you get like watercolour or fresco painting where you kind of have to have a very, very particular plan in advance. That suits some people really, really well, but it doesn't suit me because I like to change my mind a lot. It's a very kind of crooked path making the painting, so it's like I start out with this one thing and then it kind of morphs into something else. Most of the stuff that I do, I'm quite self-taught, really. One of the biggest influences on how I paint is the endless hours I've spent looking at other paintings, around the world in museums, really kind of analytically staring at them for hours, kind of which layer went first, what's the colour, all that kind of stuff. Currently I'm working on a painting of sunflowers. It's 5 sunflowers. I only found out this fact halfway through making the painting, but Van Gogh made a painting of 5 sunflowers, which was bought by a Japanese collector, and he kept it in his house in Osaka. And then during the Second World War, he was worried about it being bombed, and it was moved to one of his country houses because the bank refused to put it in their vault. But it did end up being bombed and was destroyed in a fire. And I just think there's something very moving about that sort of desperate search to kind of protect something very rare and special and amazing, and just the sort of failure of that idea of both loss and memory, but also kind of rebirth that can happen in painting. This painting in particular is one that I made several kind of layers and then obliterated the whole surface. And I'm now making the painting only on the basis of kind of my memories of the first. There's something in that process of reimagining. It's like trying to bring something back to life, and I think art is trying to outrun death in some way. Putting something in place that isn't just going to disappear, but somehow in the very act of doing it, you're kind of calling to mind the whole experience of loss. I think often Macabre, takes painting or literature or whatever to a place where it's never been before. Thinking about an artist like Fuseli or Bosch, these are exceptionally pleasurable paintings to look at and engage with. When there's something in there that's like, it's unpalatable, it's often the most exciting bit that we kind of want. And I think the Macabre is often the locus of that emotion, that thought, that thing that just breaks something open and allows it to become much more meaningful and radical.